It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, FSN West 2 presents the Dodgers as they take on the Colorado Rockies. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening. Welcome to Game 3 of the 4-game series. The Dodgers have beaten Colorado 10 out of 17, and tonight Odalis Perez against Jeff Francis will try to keep the good things going. Naturally, the #1 topic all around Dodger Stadium, all around Los Angeles, and for that matter, I'm sure, all around the baseball world would be centered about Milton Bradley and what occurred here last night. So without further ado, we will tell you that Milton Bradley will be our guest coming up right after. League Baseball announced that Milton Bradley will be suspended 5 games. The suspension will not be argued. He will fulfill the time so that he is then ready to play in the playoffs. Milton, you've had not 24 hours, but almost to think about last night. What are your thoughts?
I'm just really sorry about, everything that occurred, and just sorry to the fans that are out there rooting and cheering and booing and whatever, taking out on all the fans because of one fan wasn't right. I take pride in wearing this jersey, and taking it off last night was in no means disrespect. Jackie Robinson, a lot of people wore this jersey, and I used to wear number 24 because you can't wear 42 just for Jackie Robinson, and I always said if I could be half a person that he was, then I'd be successful in life. And now that I wear 21, that's half of 42, and he's had to endure a lot more than I have, and I just want to, sincerely apologize for everything that's went down, and just hope that I can start rebuilding and getting to that point where people can look at me as a success.
Concentrate on anger management.
Yeah, and take the steps necessary to get help with anger, and just keep playing hard once I get back out there.
Well, we know you were pushed over the edge. I think a lot of us understand exactly what happened. We're also sorry. I'll give you one line to think about, okay? And I read this, I can't tell you how many years ago. Only saints want justice. The rest of us want mercy.
That's all I can ask for is, is mercy, and it's hopefully, all the fans that are out there, whether you, like me or you didn't like me, just support and stay behind the Dodgers, and regardless of me, and, still love each and every one of them.
And we will see you in the playoffs.
That's a right on.
And so there is one uniform hanging in the locker. There is one player missing from the dugout. He will be missing for the next 5, the remaining 5 of the National League regular season, and then perhaps the playoffs. Wherever you may be, welcome to Game 3 of the series between the Dodgers and the Colorado Rockies. And in the last 4 Dodger-Colorado games, the Rockies have blown 2 5-run leads, a 7-5 8th-inning lead, and a 4-run 9th inning last night. So you can imagine how shocked the Rockies are and how delighted the Dodgers are. Here's the Rockies lineup. Aaron Miles at second. Then you have Royce Clayton, Todd Helton, Vinny Castilla. Jeremy Burnett returns to the starting lineup. He'll be in center field. Garrett Atkins will be in left. Todd Green bats 7th behind the plate. Luis Gonzalez, the other one, as they call him, in right field. And the pitcher, Jeff Francis. On the mound for the Dodgers, trying to keep it going, Odalis Perez. He is 7-6 with the league. He is 5-5 in his career with Colorado. And it might surprise you, although he's pitched pretty well, he is 0-3 against Colorado. Way back on April the 6th, he pitched against Colorado, allowed 3 earned runs, and lost. Then on the 22nd of July, he started here, allowed 1 earned run, had no decision. Then the end of July, he pitched in Colorado, gave up 6 earned runs in 4 1/3 and lost. And the last time in Colorado, again pitching very well, allowing only 2 earned runs, and he lost. So for Odalis Perez, and you probably know the story by now, 22 of his games decided by 2 runs or less, 14 one-run games, and 6 extra inning games. So for Odalis, hoping to get some runs and pick up a victory. For the Dodgers, now that Milton Bradley will sit down for 5 games, Sean Green will patrol right field, and Olmedo Saenz will stay at first base. With a left-hander Francis going, Hernandez plays over Cora. Is Turris and Beltry on the infield, Worth and Finley in the outfield with Green. Olmedo Saenz, who has done a good job for the Dodgers, will now be asked to play a little bit more than just pinch hit. He's hitting .276 with 7 home runs, 21 runs batted in. So here come the Rockies with Aaron Miles, followed by Royce Clayton, and then Todd Helton. And for Colorado, Dodger Stadium is anything but heaven. By losing here last night, the franchise has now lost 50 games here at Dodger Stadium. And Todd Helton, with an 8-game hitting streak, has never really hit well here anyway. So Aaron Miles, switch hitter, batting right-handed. Little second baseman, takes high, ball 1. Adrian Beltre plays on the edge of the grass at third. Aaron from Pittsburgh, California, originally drafted by the Astros. And Odalis working on the chewing gum. The 1-0 pitch, fastball strike, and the count 1-1. The Colorado bullpen is certainly as much a part of the story as the team itself. They are tied with 33 blown saves, and they have lost 38 games. The pitch to Miles, a strike, and the count 1-2. So for Clint Hurdle, he has gotten some pretty good starting pitching. I mean, after all, Sean Estes went 7, allowed 5, 1 out winning, and the bullpen let it get away. Jamie Wright shut the Dodgers out for 6 innings last night, and the bullpen let it get away. The pitch to Miles outside, and the count 2-2. So with all of it, the Colorado Rockies find themselves way back 24 behind the Dodgers, and the 2-2 pitch on the way rolled foul outside at third. The Rockies start the night having lost 5 straight, 10 of the last 14. They had the worst home record in franchise history, and they're not setting the world on fire on the road. They have only 29 victories away from Colorado. Royce Clayton on deck, and the 2-2 pitch. Aaron Miles swung on and missed, and down he goes. So Perez starts off with a K, and now having a career year as far as base hits are concerned. Royce Clayton coming up. Royce Clayton was born in Burbank, lives over in Arizona, went to St. Bernard High School in Playa del Rey, and has 155 hits. That's a career high for him. 8 home runs and 53 runs batted in. Odalis ready and delivers. Hard ground ball over third and down the line. So Clayton on his way as the ball is in the corner, picked up by Worth, and Royce Clayton steams in with his 35th double.
For the Rockies.
So the 1-out double by Royce Clayton gives him 157 hits. Any more that he gets, it just gets better and better for him. So with 1 out, a double, and now Helton and Castilla coming up. In looking at Odalis Perez and his work against Colorado, with Helton at the plate, all he's doing against Odalis, he's hitting .469, 15 hits, including 5 home runs and 9 runs batted in. So Perez with first base open looks back at Clayton. Now the left-hander ready and delivers, and Helton takes a strike, and the count 0-1. When Todd Helton arrived here the other night, he was hitting .213 in his career at Dodger Stadium and .153 this year. He immediately went 3 for 3 in his first 3 at-bats, 2 doubles and a single. Then he struck out twice. He had 1 hit last night. So he's had 3 hits in the series. And the strike 1 pitch coming up to the veteran left-hand batter, and Helton takes low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Royce Clayton doubles. Helton trying to spin him around, and on deck, Vinny Castilla. Helton, 31 years old, out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Boy, a big man on campus at the university. Star baseball player and a solid quarterback. Gave it over to Peyton Manning. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Todd. Perez ready, delivers, and it's low, ball 2. Helton, a good size, 6'2", and he's now 220. When he was much younger, he used to study the forms of several very good hitters. Rod Carew, Don Mattingly, Mark Grace was another one. So trying to pick up Clayton from second. And the 2-1 pitch coming up. Odalis ready, kicks and deals, ground ball to the right side. On it is Hernandez. So they take care of Helton. Clayton moves over to third. And with 2 down, Vinny Castilla coming up.
Coming to the plate.
So for Helton,
baseman,
Dodger Stadium continues to give him a bad time. Vinny Castilla is not doing as well at all as you might expect against a left-hander. You would be a little surprised to realize how well Helton handles Perez, but Vinny is hitting only 200. 4 hits, 20 at-bats, albeit 2 of the 4 hits home runs. And the kids are here. We're so happy to have them here tonight and tomorrow night. Remember, the weekend with the Giants completely sold out. Odalis at the belt, looks over his right shoulder at third. Now comes to Castilla, who lifts a fly ball to right center. Sean Green is right there to make the catch. So the 1-out double by Royce Clayton doesn't mean a thing. And at the end of half an inning, Rockies nothing, Dodgers coming up. For the Dodgers, the change, of course, now that Milton Bradley is not eligible to play for the 5 remaining games, is Torres, Hernandez, and Finley, Beltre, Worth, and Green, Signs at first, Brent Maine behind the plate, and Odalis Perez on the mound. On the mound for the Colorado Rockies, a 23-year-old left-hander, Jeff Francis. He has thrown about 185 innings between AA, AAA, and the majors, and they say they really don't want him to make more than 190 pitches. His fastball is outside to his Torres, ball 1. Jeff Francis, a baby face, 23. He's a big drink of water, and he looks even taller because he does tuck the pants in at the knee. Comes back with a fastball low, and the count 2-0. In fact, is Torres up there hitting 292, backing out to measure him a little bit. Cesar, 4 home runs, 61 runs batted in. Takes a look at a breaking ball low, ball 3. So Jeff Francis, who's from North Delta, that's Vancouver, British Columbia, he is 6'5", 200 pounds, but doesn't really look 23. The 3-0 pitch to his Torres, in for a strike. Jeff Francis, the #1 pick by the Rockies just 2 years ago out of the University of British Columbia. Now the 3-1 pitch to his Torres, swung on. Little ground ball to the right side. Miles has it and throws him out, 1 away. When Jeff Francis finally came up, and the word down in the minor leagues, can't miss, he'd be there soon. When he finally came up, when he walked into the Colorado Rockies dressing room in Denver, where the nameplate is on his locker, it didn't say Jeff Francis. It said Jeff Franchise. So that's how they look at him. He was originally offered a contract at a high school by a scouting director for the Cleveland Indians. Pitch to Hernandez, in for a strike. That same man is now assistant GM of the Rockies. His name, Josh Burns. Another thing about Jeff Francis, his major at the University of British Columbia was physics. Breaking ball in the count, 1-1 to Jose Hernandez, batting 297. And Francis having to be careful. Jose with 13 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Fastball, nice easy delivery, and he hits 87 on the gun, so not overpowering. They say that Jeff Francis is an outstanding student, and he's about 12 hours short of his degree in physics. 1-2 pitch on the way. High, check swing, no swing, says Jim Joyce, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hernandez facing young Jeff Francis. Francis pitched in the Alaska Baseball League. That's the summer league that only takes good college players. 2-2 fastball is low, so he's had 2 3-ball counts already. In that Alaska League, he was 7-1, and he had 6 shutouts while he was in college. Here's the 3-2 pitch coming up. Francis delivers, fouled away. When Jeff signed with the Rockies, he signed for a bonus of about $1.9 million right after the draft. They say he has something in common with Luke Walker, and he met Luke 2 years ago. The 3-2 pitch on the way is way outside, ball 4. So with 1 out, Hernandez draws the walk, and Steve Finley coming up. All right, let's get to the Giants. They're with San Diego. Pedro Feliz has just doubled to right in the first inning. Edgardo Alfonso and Barry Bonds scored. The Giants are leading the Padres 2-0. That's Noah Lowry and David Wells. So Steve Finley checks in with Hernandez at first and 1 out. By the way, I'm sure there were a lot of emotions in Montreal tonight. Not just because the Marlins beat the Expos 9-1. Far more than that. Francis ready and delivers. Finley takes a hook off the plate. Ball 1. So Jeff behind all 3 batters. The crowd at the last game in Montreal, 31,395. Major League Baseball announced the Montreal Expos are moving to Washington, D.C. The 1-0 pitch. Finley cracks his bat, hits it foul down the line. Didn't break it, he cracked it. Sound like a celery stalk. They'll have to get another. The Expos will be the first Major League Baseball franchise to move since 1971, when the second Senators franchise left Washington for Arlington, Texas. The Expos will be renamed. They plan to play the next 3 seasons at RFK, while a new $400 million ballpark is being built on the Anacostia River. RFK hasn't had baseball since the Senators moved to Texas. They played 10 years at RFK. Jeff Francis ready. Big curveball on the corner for a strike, and the count 1-2. So 31,000 came to the ballpark and said goodbye to the Montreal Expos. Talking about attendance, it was a big day in Chicago. The Cubs went over the 3 million mark in home attendance for the first time ever. The 1-2 pitch to Finley. A breaking ball popped up. Digging across the foul line is Castilla, but the catcher Todd Green beats him to it and makes the catch for the second out. So 2 down in the first inning, and the batter will be Adrian Beltre. Meanwhile, a disaster for the Cubs. The Cubs losing a 12-inning game to Cincinnati 4-3. Austin Kearns hit a 2-run home run against LaTroy Hawkins, and the Cubs went down. So the Giants, for the moment, are a half a game up in the wild card. The Astros, of course, are also very involved, and they're leading the Cardinals 6-4, bottom of the 8th inning. So watch all of that tonight for sure. Adrian Beltre takes off the plate. Ball 1, 1-0. Adrian needs 1 more home run. He will then tie Sean Green's franchise single season home run record of 49. A look over at first at Hernandez. Francis back with a great changeup. That's the first one he's thrown, and it was a beauty. 1-1. At 6'5", he looks very gangly, and I can imagine standing on top of a 10-inch mound. He's all elbows and kneecaps coming at you. That was a great pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike to Adrian Beltre. Francis, another look, back with a fastball right through the legs of Todd Green, and down to second base goes Jose Hernandez. For Francis, he's had 1 wild pitch, and that thing was low, and Green never got a glove on it, right between his legs and all the way to the backstop. So I would assume it's a wild pitch unless we hear otherwise. So Hernandez at second with 2 out. Second wild pitch of the year for Jeff Francis. Francis clocked 92, his best fastball, which is good for a left-hander. Most left-handers don't throw that hard. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Adrian Beltre. Fastball down and away, ball 3. He has that changeup we've just seen and a pretty good curveball. Last year he started very poorly. He started out 2-7, and then the last 3 months he was 10-2. 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed. 3-2. Young Jeff, let's check his important numbers. He has 29 strikeouts and 10 walks, so almost 3-1. And he comes in with a record of 3-2, but a very high ERA over 6. What's he pitching for? Oh, for a few more innings, just to get a couple of looks at some of the other hitters in the league. 3-2 pitch, breaking ball inside. So Beltre draws the walk. 2 walks in the first inning, and the batter will be Jason Worth. Of course, for Jeff Francis, all he has to do is look back. Last night, Jamie Wright made 28 pitches in the first inning. The night before, Sean Estes made 30 pitches in the first inning. So they didn't set a very good example for the young left-hander, and he's made 22 pitches so far. And for Clint Hurdle, I'm sure saying to himself, I've seen this before. So 2 on, 2 out, first inning, no score. And here's Jason Worth. Big right-hand batter takes a strike. Jason hitting .272. He has 16 home runs, 45 runs batted in. Worth had 2 base hits last night. Had a key base hit to drive into with the bases loaded in the 9th inning. Actually, it was a double. Strike 1 pitch to Jason. Francis back with another fastball strike. The night before, Jason had 2 hits and a walk. So he's had 4 hits in the 2 games, and up there now with 2 on, 2 out, first inning, no score. Dodgers have won 10 out of 17 from Colorado. They've won 5 straight and 9 of the last 12 against the Rockies. Strike 2 pitch, very high. Boy, that brought Todd Green up out of the crouch in a hurry. That fastball at 88, he really doesn't throw much higher than that, at least not in the first inning. Dodgers had some news not only about Milton Bradley, but about Eric Gagne. Eric Gagne's shoulder was bothering him Tuesday night, so he had an MRI today. I'll tell you about it in a moment. The 1-2 pitch to Jason Worth, foul back. Eric Gagne had the MRI today. It showed a mild case of shoulder tendonitis, and he received a cortisone shot. Eric Gagne will not pitch tonight, and of course the Dodgers would love to give him tomorrow night off as well if they can. All right, 1-2 the count with 2 on and 2 out. Worth at the plate. Francis ready. Here he comes, and a breaking ball strikes out Worth swinging. Big curveball wound up down at his feet. So no runs, no hits, 2 left, and at the end of an inning, time for O'Dallas, no score. No score as we go to the second inning. The Dodgers hosting the Rockies tomorrow at 7:10. All fans in attendance receive a Tommy Lasorda 55th anniversary commemorative coin. Compliments of Yellow Book. Call 323-2241-HIT or log on to Dodgers.com. Jeremy Burnitz, then Garrett Atkins and Todd Green against Odalis Perez. No score. Couple of notes about the Cubs drawing $3 million. You know, the Dodgers drew $3 million, first major league team to do so in 1978, and they've done it 17 times. Odalis delivers. Burnitz a big swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. The Cubs might have drawn $3 million last year, but they had 1 game rained out. The Cubs have not had a game rained out at Wrigley Field this year. That's news. 0-1 the count to Burnitz. Odalis ready, comes back inside, 1-1. Since moving to Wrigley Field in 1916, the Cubs have had at least 1 home game postponed to bad weather every year except 3 in 82, 85, 89, and so far this year. 1-1 pitch to Jeremy is swung on and fouled away, and the count 1-2. Jeremy Burnitz hit 38 home runs in 1998 for the Brewers. Also struck out 158 times. Well, he has 37 home runs right now and 106 runs batted in. So Burnett's waiting, no score, second inning. Odalis rocks on the rubber. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way, fouled away. You know, last night, and I'm sure you do know, the Dodgers were down 4-0 in the bottom of the ninth inning and pulled it out. That's the first time in 42 years that the Dodgers ended the bottom of the ninth inning down by 4 and came back to win the game. First time in 42 years. 1-2 pitch fouled off. The last time the Dodgers did it, May the 17th, 1962, when they were down 4-0 in the bottom of the ninth, and they came back to defeat the dreaded Houston Colt 45s 5-4. Well, Doug Mann went back through the books to dig that up, and that's amazing. Over 40 years. The 1-2 pitch fouled away by Jeremy Burnitz, and the count remains. Jeremy, born here in Westminster, makes his home in Florida, was originally a first-round pick by the Mets out of Oklahoma State. Same school attended by Robin Ventura. Burnett's left-hand batter waiting. Odalis rocks, turns, and back he comes. Big curveball high and inside. Burnett's kind of bailed on it. 2-2 the count. Odalis working on Burnett's, who's roughed him up. Jeremy hitting .364 against Perez with 2 home runs. But he was able to get by Helton, who really fattened up on him. So we'll see what he does with Jeremy. 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball hits him right in the small of the back, right at number 35. So Jeremy takes the walk, stung for Odalis Perez, and he certainly pitched enough this year. Odalis has hit only 2 other batters all year. And for Adrian Beltre, I think he felt that pitch in his own back because he kind of arches as if to say, oh yeah, I know what that's like. So Burnett's hit by the pitch, leading off the inning. For Jeremy, that is the 4th time that he's been hit. He just did bail and get out of the way of a curveball, and then the fastball got him. So here now is Garrett Atkins, the Bruin from UCLA, and a big man on campus. Garrett born in Orange and lives in Irvine. Perez a look over at first and a hook in for a strike to Atkins. Garrett, the only 3-time All-American in UCLA history. At one time playing at UCLA, he had a 33-game hitting streak. Good solid players, 6'3", 210. Couple of very fine young outfielders in the Colorado system. Strike one, pitch in the dirt, gets away from Maine. Burnitz didn't know how far and stays at first. 2 reasons. First, he was looking at Maine's back, and second, Marvin Hudson, the plate umpire, was there, and Burnitz couldn't quite find out where the ball was. So 1-1 the count to Garrett Atkins. Maybe the top prospect coming up to Colorado this year. Matt Holliday, an outfielder who's out with a swollen elbow. Holliday was hitting .290 and had 14 home runs, 57 RBI. A chopper wide of third as Turris gets it to Hernandez for a force play, and no doubt Howlett Beltre off the ball. Boy, you know, you talk about teamwork. Turris and Beltre are not only very close buddies, they really work exceptionally well on the left side of the infield. And then really, for good measure, Turris and Alex Cora, who play together a great deal, are like a great dance couple. Jose Hernandez doing a good job when he gets in there, but the trio of Beltre, Turris, and Cora, well, you talk about a chorus line, you got a winner here. So Atkins hits into the force play, and the batter now will be Todd Green. Todd waiting. Perez a look over at Atkins, now to the plate, and wiggles it low, ball 1. Todd Green is from Augusta, Georgia. He went to Georgia Southern University. He's 33 years old, 5'10", 208-pounder, who spent the last couple of years with the Rangers and before that the Yankees. Right-hand hitting catcher. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Fastball grounded foul. 1-1. 3 catches, Charles Johnson, Todd Green, and a switch hitting catcher. And of course that's a decided edge, J.D. Klosser. We'll be watching the Giants all night. They're in the bottom of the 2nd inning in San Diego. Giants 2, San Diego nothing. Pedro Feliz doubled in Alfonso and Bonds to give the Giants the lead against David Wells. Unbeaten Noah Lowry pitching for the Giants. The 1-1 pitch golfed at and missed, and golfed at is certainly appropriate for a guy born in Augusta, Georgia. 1-2 the count to Todd. Noah Lowry is 6-0. A freshman pitcher having a big year for San Francisco. Remember, the Cubs lost and the Astros are winning, and the wild card is really something. Throw to first. Atkins back on the bag. Garrett has not been involved in a stolen base, so if he's going at all, no doubt it would be hit and run. Todd Green has grounded into 5 double plays. So Atkins off the bag, held on by Olmedo Signs. No score, 2nd inning. Perez at the belt. Another look over at Atkins. Now the pitch to Green. Ground ball in the hole. Backhanded by Turris for a force. Hernandez turns it into a double play. Oh my goodness, they are such fun to watch. Cesar Turris taking a base hit away and gets 2 instead. Backhanding, short hopping, throwing on his right leg, and Jose turned it. It's no score.
Right fielder, number 15.
No score, bottom of the 2nd inning. Another remarkable play by Cesar Turris to not only take the base hit away from Green, get 2 on it and end the inning. So the Dodgers now with Sean Green, Olmedo Signs, and Brent Mayne. He is so good. I just wonder how much better he can possibly get. And I think everybody in the game says he can be better. Sean Green takes low, ball 1. And it's almost heresy to say, but I'm starting to really think that Turris is the best Dodgers shortstop I've ever seen, and that includes Pee Wee Reese. Pitch on the corner for a strike. 1-1 to Sean Green. Billy Delory was talking about Ozzie Smith. And we're saying, well, gosh, yeah, Cesar needs some years before you start talking about Ozzie. Sean, meanwhile, pops it up, and the third baseman, Vinny Castilla, in foul ground will make the catch. But in talking about Ozzie Smith, Joe Amalfitano made a good point. He said, remember, Ozzie played on AstroTurf. That means no bad hops. This kid's on natural turf just about all the time, and he's unbelievable. Cesar Turris, a golden boy at short. Wow. So Green pops up, and Olmedo Signs coming up. 1 out, 2nd inning, no score. Jeff Francis looks in to get a sign. Young left-handed deals, and it's hit in the air to left center and deep. Atkins, however, has to come back in again to make the catch. So the ball left, and Atkins started backing over, and then all of a sudden it just died. So Signs a fly ball to left, 2 down, and Brent Mayne coming up. Moment or 2 ago, we were talking about the Cubs and how they've drawn $3 million. And we were talking about Montreal saying goodbye to Canada and La Belle Province, Quebec, and going to Washington, D.C. And Mike Ireland and the boys in the truck sent word that Baltimore has had 9 rainouts this year. The breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike. Because we had mentioned the Cubs did not have a game rained out. They said, well, Baltimore had 9 rained out. And of course, Washington just down the road from Baltimore. The pitch off the plate and the count 1-1. Final score, and the Astros have won again at home. I believe that's 15 straight at home. They beat the Cardinals 6-4 as Maine fouls it away. So what are you going to do with Houston? They have now, for the moment, caught the Giants. The Cubs are a half back. San Diego still scrambling. They're 3 back for the moment. But whoa, the Astros had Roger Clemens pitch tonight, and they won. 1-2 pitch on the way, and Maine takes low and inside, and the count 2-2. For Houston, they have now won 4 in a row, 8 of 11, and I believe 15 in a row at home. 2-2 pitch on the way, fouled off. So all of a sudden the Dodgers have won 91 games. The Giants have won 88. So have the Cubs, and Houston has now won 89. And lo, the poor Rockies are heading for Houston. How have they done against the Astros? Because they could be spoilers. Against Houston, they've just lost 2 out of 3. 2-2 the count. Maine tries to wait on a breaking ball, then he's a little late, fouls it off. So still 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brent. 2 down, second inning. No score in the ball game. Giants leading San Diego 2-0. Padres had a couple of men on base the last we checked in the bottom of the second inning, and I assume they failed to do anything. Maine hits the ball back to the box. Francis flips it to Helton. That'll do it for the Dodgers in the second inning. So at the end of 2. Third inning, no score in the ball game. By the way, if you just joined us on radio and TV, we'll touch on a couple of important subjects. Before the game tonight, Milton Bradley was informed by Major League Baseball that he will be suspended for 5 games. He will not appeal the suspension from his actions last night, which means he will not play for Jim Tracy and the team starting tonight through Sunday. Then, having paid that, he will be eligible to play in the playoffs. He also said that he is definitely going to try and take some treatment for anger management. And the other note, the fact that Eric Gagne's shoulder was bothering him yesterday. He had an MRI today. He has a mild case of shoulder tendonitis, and he received a cortisone shot. He would not pitch tonight. Okay, Odalis Perez working on Luis Gonzalez, the other one. This Gonzo is from Maracay in Venezuela. He's had a big month of September, hitting .451, right-handed all the way, 5'11", 170. So Perez looks in to get a sign, and Gonzalez waiting. The left-hander deals, and is a ground ball to Beltre. Adrian up with it, straightens up, zips it over the first, and just like that, 1 down. So 1 out in the third, no score in the ball game, and Jeff Francis coming up. Nice crowd on hand tonight. In the last couple of games here, we had 36-9 game 1. We had 33-5 last night. And somewhere, I guess, somewhere between 33 and 39 tonight. And we're so happy to see the kids here because the regular season is running away. The pitch down and away to Francis, ball 1. And again, we want to caution and remind you, the weekend, the entire 3 games with the Giants sold out. So we don't want you to be inconvenienced and come over trying to buy a ticket. Pitch a strike, and the count 1-1. Now, if you wear a pink shiny jacket and a pink hat, and if you're a good girl and you don't bite your nails, we might find room. The 1-1 pitch, low and away, ball 2, and the count 2-1. Francis has had 8 at-bats. He does not have a hit, and he has struck out 3 times. He has sacrificed 4 times, so he's learning. 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed, and the count 2-2. Jeff Francis, the wonderkind in the Colorado organization. You just wonder, however, how good can he be pitching in Denver? How good can he possibly be? Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. I mean, you look at Jeff Francis and you think, wait a minute. How about Mike Hampton? How about Denny Nagel? How good will he be? Well, they say he's got great stuff. But great stuff has a tendency to evaporate in the mile-high air. Well, we'll see. 2 down in the third inning, and Aaron Miles coming up. Meanwhile, in San Diego, it's 2-0 Giants, top of the third inning. Miles struck out in the first inning. Little second baseman hitting .294. Switch hitter batting right-handed and looks at a strike, and the count 0-1. He has 6 home runs, 47 runs batted in. As a switch hitter, he's been better batting left-handed, hitting over 300 from the left-hand side, about 260 from this side. Swings, pulls it right into and out of the Dodger dugout, and Hee-Seop Choi had to get up off the chair in a hurry. That thing almost punched a hole in the water tank behind him. 0-2 the count. So Aaron Miles waiting, Royce Clayton on deck. 2 out, third inning, no score. Strike 2 pitch on the way, goes foul off to the right. Still 0-2 to Aaron Miles. With 2 out, top of the third inning in San Diego. Barry Bonds batting and grounded deep to the second baseman, who's probably playing in right field, and threw him out. So they go to the bottom of the third in San Diego. Giants 2, Padres nothing. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way, and that's outside. Remember, the Padres have beaten the Giants 11 times. The Giants have won 6. That's right up to date, counting the Giant victory last night. And it's David Wells and Noah Lowry. The 1-2 pitch swung on, little dribbler by the mound. Here comes Beltre and can't make the play. Didn't have a grip and wisely opted to hold on to the ball. So for Miles, he gets an infield single, and the batter will be Royce Clayton. That's another sign of maturity. I mean, he's fielding the ball, and all of a sudden he knows, I can't. I'm going to throw it away if I try to make it. Why give him 2, let him have 1? So the wise veteran player knows when not to do it. What is it about that song? When to fold them, when to hold them. So here's Clayton with Miles at first, 2 out in the third, no score. Perez hit the belt. Dallas very deliberate, and the pitch is low as Clayton showed bunt. 1 ball and no strikes. For 13 years, Royce Clayton has been the opening day shortstop. The thing that's interesting, over that 13-year span, he was the opening day shortstop for 6 different teams. Here's the 1-0 pitch instead of throw to first. I mean, it started with the Giants, then the Cardinals, then the Rangers, then the White Sox, then the Brewers, and number 6, the Rockies. Royce has had a marvelous career. Came up with the Giants in '91. Was going to go to school at SC, but instead accepted the Giants offer. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Clayton. Curveball in there nicely for a strike. Big slow bender. 1-1 to Royce Clayton, who doubled in the first inning to give him a career best 157 hits. Royce, by the way, is 34 years old. So Miles taking a cautious lead, held on by signs. Miles has stolen 12 out of 19, and Perez decides he'd best keep an eye on him. Davy Collins, who knows all about stealing bases, first base coach. Boy, he was a terror with Cincinnati especially. And over at third, the mentor, Sandy Alomar. 1-1 the count to Royce Clayton. Another throw to first. Miles back on. No score here in the third inning. Giants leading the Padres 2-0. They're in the bottom of the third. Dallas up on top, trying to win his 8th. He is 7-6. Break even 5-5 lifetime with the Rockies, but he's taken a beating this year. 0-3 against Colorado. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Royce Clayton. He bunts foul, and the count 1-2. When you see Clayton with the bat in his hands, he's probably as good a bunter as there is around anywhere. And when you look it up, the first thing you find out, he's got 22 sacrifice bunts this year. He's tied for the lead. So that's just somebody trying to bunt. He is a good bunter. 1-2 to Royce Clayton. Out of a stretch goes O'Dallas. Another look at Miles. And another visit. Throws over to Signs. Signs, Hernandez, Asturias, and Beltre, Worth, Finley, and Green. Main behind the plate. No score. Third inning. One more tomorrow. Jose Lima and Jason Jennings. Right hand hitting Royce Clayton waiting. Left hand pitcher O'Dallas Perez ready. And the 1-2 pitch coming up is a fastball high. Clayton started to offer and then held up. Clayton has struck out a lot. For a fellow with 8 home runs, he has struck out a shocking number of times, 122 times for a guy with 8 home runs. And yet he's doing all right, hitting .280. 2-2. Perez ready, checks, comes back to his hitter, swung on and missed, and down he goes again. So Clayton strikes out. They leave Miles at first, and at the end of 2.5 innings, no score.
Pitcher, number 45, O'Dallas Perez.
Tonight, FSN West 2 delivers the best night in sports television. It starts next with the Southern California Sports Report, followed by the always opinionated IMAX. Then is the outrageous best damn sports show, period. It all begins right after the game here on FSN West 2.
Bottom of the third inning, no score in the ball game. The Rockies and Dodgers. O'Dallas Perez leads it off and backs off away from a fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. O'Dallas checking in. He has a half a dozen hits, 2 RBIs, and Francis comes back 1-0 and misses high. Now the pitch count for Jeff Francis, I think, is very, very important. He's a kid. A year ago he had 160 innings. That's the most ever. The 2-0 pitch, and that's a strike. This year he had 185 innings. And by the time he comes here, they really said they don't want him to pitch more than 190. Well, he's getting awful close. 2-1 pitch, fastball hit in the gap to right center, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So Burnett's up with it, gets it back in. So O'Dallas Perez coming up with his 7th hit and his 3rd double. So Perez at second, nobody out. Is Torres, Hernandez, and Finley trying to pick him up. No score. Last night, Cesar Torres led off the ball game with a walk. Then in the 5th inning, he walked and was picked off base. And then in the wild 9th inning, he walked, but so did everybody in the ballpark, it seemed. So for the first time in his career, Cesar had a 3-walk game last night. Francis ready, deals, fastball strike. Cesar showing bunt, let it go by. 0-1 the count. This Torres hitting .292. He has 4 home runs, 61 runs batted in. Todd Helton not holding. He's up in front of O'Dallas Perez. Now Francis back with a curveball, little slow roller to Castillo. Then he throws him out, but that gets the job done. It advances Perez. So O'Dallas on the ground ball. Now at second base.
Second baseman.
And with 1 out, Jose Hernandez coming up. Jose Hernandez walked in the first inning. Got to second base on a wild pitch. He has done a wonderful job. He has started 50 games this year and has more than held his own. So Jose, who can play just about anywhere out there on the infield and left field if necessary. The pitch, the right hand hitter, slow curveball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. 1 out, 3rd inning, no score. Rockies no runs, 2 hits. Dodgers no runs, 1 hit. And young Jeff Francis, 23 years old, set at the belt. Strike 1, curveball, and that's a little high. And the count 1-1. So the young man from Vancouver, British Columbia. 2 years ago, Francis was hit in the head by a line drive foul, and it hit him near the left temple. 1-1 pitch, fastball in there for a strike. And he went down and struck his head on the concrete floor in the dugout. Fortunately, he sustained only a mild concussion and missed one start. Line drive foul. You see them go in and out of the dugout, and fortunately we haven't seen anyone injured, but he was nailed. Jeff leaning on his right knee now, straightens up, and the 1-2 pitch coming up. Fastball chased and missed. It was high and away, and going after it was Jose. So 2 down. Perez at second, and Steve Finley coming up. Finley fouled out in the first inning. 0 for 1. So young Jeff Francis trying someday, hopefully for him, to be as big a star out of British Columbia with the Rockies as Larry Walker. The left-hander ready, works Finley. Big breaking ball off the plate. Ball 1. 1-0. They have gone to the 4th inning in San Diego. The Giants are leading the Padres 2-0. And that's Noah Lowry and David Wells. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Francis set, kicks and delivers. A fastball gets the outside corner, and the count 1-1. I don't think he's thrown higher than 88, at least on this gun. 1-1. He is 6'5", 200 pounds. Perez at second with 2 out. Finley waiting, hitting .272. Francis at the belt. Back he comes. Fastball pull foul outside of first in front of John Shelby. And the count 1-2. Tomorrow night, the concluding game with the Rockies. Jason Jennings and Jose Lima. And then the collision. The Giants will be here Friday night. Will it mean anything? Well, the magic number is 3. 1-2 the count to Finley. Here comes Francis with the curveball off the plate. 2-2. Magic number 3. Any combination of Dodger victories and or Giant defeats that adds to 3. But it can be a tough number. 2-2 the count to Finley. Francis again ready. Looks back at Perez in this scoreless tie. Comes with a fastball hit to the hole. Great diving stop by Miles, but he throws it away, and it gets past the backup pitcher Francis, and scoring is Odalis Perez. Aaron Miles made a great skidding stop of the base hit, then tried to throw the ball while on his side, and he threw it away from first base. Jeff Francis was there to try and back up, and he couldn't corral the errant toss, and Perez carries in the run. And so the Dodgers get a huge break and lead 1-0. It's going to be an error all the way. Charge to Aaron Miles. Dodgers will take it. Perez back in the dugout, leading 1-0, and now Adrian trying to add to it. Francis out of a stretch. A look over at first. Left-handed kicks and deals, and a fastball for a strike. 0-1. For the Rockies, their 83rd error. Not bad at all. Adrian Beltre, whenever he comes up, you hear MVP. The Dodgers have had 4 of them. Wills, Koufax, Garvey, and Gibson. Now the strike 1 pitch to Adrian. Fastball inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Perez got a base hit, took second on a ground ball, stayed there when Hernandez struck out, and then Finley robbed of a hit by Miles, and then Miles couldn't get the ball to Helton, and scoring on the play Perez. Miles drawing the error. 1 ball and 1 strike, and here comes Francis. Fastball swung on and missed. 1-2. Beltre backing out. I think he was kind of groping for that fastball. It wasn't his usual good swing. He might have been looking for a different location and then committed anyway. Francis looks in, getting a sign. Now the young left-hander ready, and the 1-2 pitch coming up. And that's a fastball, a one-hopper at Miles, who throws him out. So Beltre hits it hard. It's an out. Nevertheless, Odalis Perez scores from second. He's a huffing and a puffing, and at the end of 3, 1-0 Dodgers.
Medical Center. Please welcome from Centinela, Mike.
Here's tonight's Aflac trivia question. Ichiro Suzuki needs 3 hits to tie the Major League season record, 257 by George Sisler. Who holds the Dodgers season record for hits? You have any idea? Oh, we'll give you the answer in a little while. Odalis Perez singles and works his way around to score, and the Dodgers lead 1-0 in the 4th. Giants lead San Diego 2-0, and they're going to the bottom of the 4th. Houston setting a record by winning their 15th consecutive game at home to beat the Cardinals. And the Cubs lose in extra innings to Cincinnati. Helton grounded out in the 1st inning. Little ground ball to Asturias. So Helton obviously does a great deal of his hitting at Coors Field, especially against the Dodgers, because they do a great number of shutting him down here. He had 1 hit last night. He went 1 for 4. And 3 for 5 the night before, which was a rare night for him here. So this is probably his least favorite ballpark. Now Vinny Castilla flied to right in the 1st inning. Rockies have lost 5 straight, 10 out of 14. That's a strike. 0-1. This year's Colorado Ball Club and the Texas Rangers of 2 years ago are linked up with sorry bullpens. The Rockies have 33 blown saves and only 35 saves. So only 3 teams have ever had more blown saves than saves. The Cubs, the Royals, and the Dodgers 10 years ago. The Rockies and the Rangers, as far as bullpen losses, 38. 2 years ago for Texas, this year for Colorado. 1-2 to Castillo. 2-2. Rich Aurelio, leading off in the bottom of the 4th inning, has just hit a home run for San Diego. So the Giant lead is 2-1 in the 4th. Good sinking fastball to take care of Castillo. 2 out in the 4th inning. And the batter, Jeremy Burnett. So Vinny Castilla and Todd Helton both go down. Oh, Mom, are you not in 7th heaven? Strike. 0-1. Jeremy, always a threat to do one of 2 things, either hit a home run or strike out. 0-2 the count. I don't know what Adam Dunn has done the last couple of days. He had struck out 183 times. No batting gloves for Jeremy. He likes the feel of the bat. 0-2. Ball 1. Strikeouts. Adam Dunn now has 186. So he needs 3 more to get his name alongside of Bobby Bonds, Barry's dad. 1-2. Got him. Good. Jeremy caught looking. Down he goes. That's 5 strikeouts for Odalis. Rockies done in the 4th. Remember our Aflac trivia question. Ichiro Suzuki needs 3 hits to tie George Sisler's record of 257. Who holds the Dodgers season record for hits? And the answer, Babe Herman, way back in Brooklyn. 241 hits in 1930. Bottom of the 4th, 1-0 Dodgers. Jeff Francis pitching to Worth, Green, and Signs. We told you in San Diego, Rich O'Reilly hit a home run, so the Giant lead is 2-1. Ramon Hernandez then doubled. Alex Gonzalez has struck out. They had a note in the paper. They keep track of the most unbelievable things this day and age. Last night, Ramon Hernandez was followed by Ramon Vasquez in the San Diego lineup, and they actually had the nerve to say in the notes, it is the first time there were 2 Ramones hitting back-to-back in Major League history. What a note. Sounds more like a singing group, the Ramones. 2-1 the count. 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers here in the 4th. Odalis scored the only run. Ball 3 to Jason Worth, who struck out in the 1st inning. Tying run at second for San Diego with 1 out. David Wells, the batter, and the count, no balls and 1 strike down there. That's a strike, Jason. Okay, he didn't throw the bat away. So 3-2. The plate umpire is Marvin Hudson. And Marvin, a little over 5 years of experience, born in Marietta, Georgia, lives in Washington, Georgia, majored in business administration at Piedmont. He was a catcher in college. Fouled away. 1-2 the count to David Wells. Bottom of the 4th inning. 2-1 San Francisco, and the Padres have Ramon Hernandez, who doubled at second base. And strike 3, Jason. The first he walked down the line holding the bat. Then he was more convincing that it was ball 4, but down he goes.
Sean Green.
At the knees, the Worth goes down. That would be the 3rd strikeout for Jeff Francis, and he is rung up by Marvin Hudson. And a little ground ball to the right side. Miles to Helton. 2 down. Oh, we're talking about that unbelievable note about back-to-back Ramones, Hernandez and Vasquez, and saying it sounded like a singing group. Ben Platt tells us the Ramones were a punk rock group in the 70s and 80s. And their leader, Joey Ramone, passed away 12 days ago. So, there you go. Here's Signs, a strike, 0-1. I just read this stuff. I have no idea who they are. 0-1 to count to Olmedo Signs. 1-0 Dodgers, 2 out in the 4th. Whoa, great pitch, and Signs hitting off the arm speed, and it was a changeup, and he was way out in front of it. Well, when you can do that at 23 and you've only been a pro for 2 years, you can understand why the Rockies just love this kid. Fastball. Still 0-2. How many innings Clint Hurdle will let him pitch? I don't know. He's coming up to 190, and he has made 68 pitches. Breaking ball, ball 1. The only run, Perez singled Took second as his tourist grounded out. Stayed there when Hernandez struck out. Finley hit a ball in the hole. Miles made a sliding stop and threw it away. And Perez scored. And that's it. 1-2. Fouled away. Olmedo has put up some big numbers against the Rockies in his career. He's hitting .387 against them with 4 home runs, 14 runs batted in. One and two. 2-2. Signs one of those fellows who really excels in day games. He's hitting .400 in the daytime. And he's hitting .345 on the road. 2-2. Fastball missed. 3-2 the count. Francis anywhere from 86 to 88 miles an hour. Brent Mayne on deck. Each side with only 2 hits. And that's off the plate. So a 2-out walk to Signs. That would be the 3rd walk given up by Jeff Francis. And Brent Mayne, who hit back to the box, coming up here in the 2nd inning. Mayne doing very well against left-handers. So that flies in the face of what you would think of the baseball book. He's hitting .353 against left-hand pitching. Strike. He might not play tomorrow night, so this could be the last connection for the year. Brent Mayne played for Colorado when Buddy Bell was the manager. Game went into extra innings, and he wound up pitching the top of the 12th inning. And in the bottom of the 12th, Adam Melhorn hit a home run. Rockies won the game, and Brent Mayne picked up a victory. He was the first position player to pick up a victory since Rocky Colavito. Colavito, an outfielder, and had a tremendous arm. 1-1. Fouled away. San Diego had to settle for Aurelia's home run, though it's 2-1 Giants, and Noah Lowry, the pitcher, opened up the 5th inning and doubled. So the Giants now trying to add to their 2-1 lead. 1-2 to Maine. We have 2 out. Exchange of baseballs. 1-0 Dodgers in the 4th inning. Signs at first, and the pitcher Perez on deck. Helton directly behind Signs. 1-2. Curveball off the plate. 2-2. Ray Durham with a runner at second bunted him over to third. So Noah Lowry's at third, 1 out. 2-1 Giants in the 5th inning. And a fly ball to left. Going back on it was Atkins, and he has to come in and make a great play on what should have been an easy fly ball. He just happened to be going the wrong way, but he got it. No runs, no hits, a man left, and at the end of 4, 1-0 Dodgers. Perez had a high of 10 strikeouts this year, and he's halfway there tonight. He started out with Aaron Miles and a breaking ball in the dirt. Then he came right back with a breaking ball to ring out Francis. Another breaking ball disposed of Clayton, and yet another one got Castilla, and finally the fastball got Burnett's looking, and he has 5 scalps so far as we go to the 5th inning. Meanwhile, we told you that Noah Lowry doubled. Ray Durham sacrificed him to third, and Davy Cruz has just singled to right field. So the Giants now lead San Diego 3-1. Padres are 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. A little while ago we were talking about strikeouts, and we mentioned Adam Dunn had struck out 186 times. Here's the strike one pitch. 0-2. Doug Mann checked, and Adam Dunn struck out twice today. So he has now struck out 188 times. He also has, I think, 44 home runs. And as he was quoted as saying, he could care less about how many times he strikes out. 0-1. Well, it's at 188 and counting. Atkins, Green, and Gonzalez. Fifth inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Giants leading 3-1 in the fifth inning in San Diego. 2-2. The Dodgers control their own destiny. If they win 3 games, it doesn't make any difference what the Giants do. 2-2. Ball 3. Atkins hit into a force play in the second inning. Last night he had a base hit in the first inning to drive in a run. Did not play in the first game of the series. And Jose Lima making his own mental notes. He'll be out there tomorrow against Jason Jennings, with Jose trying to win his 14th. 3-2. And ball 4. So Perez, who hit a bat of Burnitz in the second inning, now walks his first man.
For the Rockies, pitcher
And Todd Green coming up. In the second inning, Burnitz was hit by a pitch, and Atkins hit into a force play. And Todd Green came up and hit a ground ball in the hole at short. Looked like a base hit. Instead, the magic of Cesar Izturis turned it into a double play. So Dallas working on Green with Gonzalez on deck. 1-0 Dodgers, fifth inning. Ball 1. Just show you that play. Green bangs it to the hole. Izturis backhand, short hops, throws up one leg, and Jose turns it. That was a picture play. Izturis, like Beltre, gets a remarkable amount of effort on the throw, even on one leg. Fouled away. 1-1. Dodgers 1 run, 2 hits. Rockies no runs, 2 hits. Of course, last night the Dodgers had 2 hits at the end of 2 innings. Didn't do anything until the 9th inning. One and one to count to Todd Green. Bottom of the fifth inning in San Diego. Giants 3, Padres 1. Brian Giles at the plate. Hard ground ball to Beltre. To Hernandez. They turn another. For Todd Green, he's trying to figure out where in the world do I hit it and find a hole. Robbed of a hit by Izturis and drilled that thing right at Beltre. So the Dodgers turn their second double play on Green. And with 2 out, it'll bring up Luis Gonzalez. The old timers called it around the horn. 5-4-3. Todd Green called it something else. Gonzalez grounded to third in the third inning. Had a huge September to get his average up to 295. Breaking ball, strike. He was in the Indians organization, was Gonzalez. Signed 7 years ago as a free agent. And the Rockies picked him from the Indians. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bottom of the fifth inning, San Diego failed to score, so it's still Giants 3, Padres 1. They'll go to the 6th. Barry Bonds will be batting. Fouled away. Gonzo, a super utility man, they say. He can play a good second base. He can play first base. He can play short. He can play third. And tonight he's playing right field. So an infielder with a right fielder's arm, that's a real plus. Meanwhile, Odalis not allow a run, 2 hits. 1-2. Half swing, that'll do it. So 6 strikeouts now, and whenever anybody gets on, why, the Dodgers rise to the occasion. Adrian Beltre to Jose Hernandez, who turns it 1-0 Dodgers. And a reminder, go back to Game 1 of the 1988 World Series, one of the more unbelievable games and certainly one of the most exciting moments. Well, you can hear from the players who lived through it on Beyond the Glory. That'll be Sunday at 8 right here on FSN West 2. Odalis Perez leading off, single to right center in the 3rd inning, and eventually came around to score. Perez is Turris and Hernandez. Giants lead San Diego 3-1. And Perez, a ground ball stopped by Miles. He makes another great effort and this time gets the hitter. So Aaron diving to his left, threw one away on Finley. Diving to his right, he gets the ball to Heldon. Nice play by Aaron. Wonderful play. 1 out. So Perez robbed of a hit, as Miles on his right knee is able to throw a strike to Helton. Very good play. Izturis coming up 0 for 2. You know, the other day Izturis was in the clubhouse and he had a bag of ice up high around his chest. You say, is your arm bothering you? No. It's from all the diving at ground balls. He begins to beat up that upper torso. He's amazing. And a line drive right at Miles, 2 down. Well, not too happy about that line drive, but last night was another story. When the Dodgers won the game on Finley's base hit, Izturis looked like a little kid in Little League. I mean, he was jumping out of his uniform, but he had company with Worth and Beltre and Weaver, the whole gang. What a finish last night. Are they getting ready for one of these nights? I guess so. So here's Hernandez, a strike. In the 6th inning, with the Giants leading 3-1, Barry Bonds came up and struck out on 3 pitches against David Wells. Fly ball into left center, high enough for Atkins to get under. So an easy inning for left-handed Jeff Francis. On this day in 1976, Walter Olson gave the reins of the Dodgers to Tommy Lasorda. Olson had spent 23 years as the skipper, and Tommy had another great 20-year run before turning things over. And for Tommy, he started his debut on the right note, beating the Houston Astros 1-0. Let's go back to this one. And this one is 1-0 Dodgers. In the 6th, Jeff Francis, Aaron Miles, Royce Clayton. They're in the bottom of the 6th inning in San Diego. Ryan Klesko has just popped up on a nice running catch by Ray Durham, and the Giants are leading the Padres 3-1. David Wells and Noah Lowry. Ball 1. Odalis has not had to work hard. The most 17 pitches in an inning, the least 10. Ball 2 to Jeff Francis. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Rockies. Fastball strike. The only run, Odalis Perez singled to right center. Took second as Izturis grounded out. Held as Hernandez struck out. Finley hit a ball in the hole on the right side. Great diving stop by Miles, who then threw it away. Chopper. Oh, what a play by Beltre. My gosh, the throw almost pulled signs off the bag. Boy, where'd you come up with that one? And the chant again, MVP. That ball exploded right here. Boom. And he just stayed with it. So the left side of the Dodger infield is worth the price of admission just watching those two guys. Beltre and his tourists. They are really something. Can't play any better. So here's Aaron Miles. Runs right under a bunt, trying to bunt it. 0-1. Miles struck out and had an infield single in the third inning. Aaron batting .296. And ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. So with one out in the sixth inning, Aaron Miles singles to represent the tying run. He's 2 for 3. And Royce Clayton will be coming up with Todd Helton on deck. Clayton opened up the game with one out and doubled the left. Meanwhile, in San Diego, they have tied up the game. We'll get the details in a moment. Ramon Hernandez, the catcher, hit a home run with Rich Aurelia on base. And it's a 3-3 tie in the sixth inning. Giants San Diego. Clayton fouls it off. For Ramon Hernandez, he hit it over the dead center field fence, 396 away. Of course, the last we saw, he had 15-16 home runs. He can hit them out. Meanwhile, 1-0 Dodgers, sixth inning. Miles, who has stolen 12 bases. And Clayton waiting. Pretty hard to put a play on with Clayton because he strikes out so much. 1-1. Got to be a killer to have a shortstop who has hit 8 home runs, playing in Denver half the year, and striking out a total of 123 times. And still hit .280. If he could cut the strikeouts down, you could just imagine what kind of a year Clayton would have in Denver. 1-1. Royce looks down to Sandy Alomar. But if you run somebody with Clayton up there, you run the risk of him failing to make contact. 1-1. Clayton has grounded into 13 double plays. And you have Todd Helton on deck, who despite being 0 for 2 has worn out Perez in the past. Probably most of the times wearing him out in Denver, not here. 1 run, 2 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 3 hits for the Rockies. Miles with something in his eye. Okay now. 1-1 the count. 1 out. Breaking ball, and he dropped to his right knee. That curveball ate him up. 1-2 the count. 2 out in the bottom of the sixth inning. And the Giants and the Padres are tied up 3-3. Thanks to a 2-run home run by Ramon Hernandez against Noah Lowry. Remember, Lowry's undefeated for the Giants. He is 6-0. The home run has gotten David Wells even in that game. 1-2. And a little roller to his turret. His only play is to first. So Clayton rolls out. Miles gets to second, and now they leave it up to Todd Helton.
First baseman Todd Helton.
Royce Clayton got to third in the first inning. Miles gets to second here in the sixth. That's been it. Helton, 2 little ground balls to Jose Hernandez. I see that and I say that's very nice, but it doesn't mean a thing. I mean, if Babe Ruth or Ted Williams or Lou Gehrig played in Denver, Well, what do you think their slugging percentage would be? But it's nice. You can tell the grandkids you're ranked up there with the big guys. Ball one. Helton has a modest 8-game hitting streak, and coming into this game, he was hitting .469 against Perez, 15 hits, 5 home runs, 9 runs batted in. So Miles a tying run at second, 2 out. Time. David Wells came up to hit and walked with 2 out. And Jay Payton is the batter with Wells at first in a 3-3 tie, bottom of the 6th. Ball 2. Now Helton has worn Perez out. Castillo has pretty much been an out, hitting under 200 against Perez in his career. Well, you wonder, will he try to pitch around Helton? But then with Vinny, you always have the chance of a home run. 2-0 to Helton. Curveball. Helton has 32 home runs. Vinny Castilla has 34. One nothing Dodgers, 6th inning, the tying run. Aaron Miles at second, 2 out. Giants are tied 3-3. Fastball hit down the left field line. Jason Worth in a hurry. It's going to short hop the wall. Scoring easily as Miles. And so Todd Helton doubles into the corner to tie up the game. And almost hit it in the seats. So a double short hopping the wall will pick up Miles easily. And now the batter is Vinny Castilla. Down the line and that close from going into the seats. It actually hit the wall and caromed away from Worth. So Todd Helton now with that double picks up his 95th run batted in and his 48th double. So 1-1. The Dodgers are tied. The Giants are tied. And Jay Payton hit a ball to dead center, but that's about all. It's an out. So they're going to go to the 7th inning in San Diego, but thanks to Ramon Hernandez, 2-run home run, and the Giants and Padres tied 3-3. We're tied here 1-1. In the dirt, blocked by Maine, ball 1. Todd Helton wanted that ball, and the bat boy was trying to throw it, and one of the players blocked it for the moment. So it'll go into Todd Helton's trophy case. 1 ball and no strikes to Vinny Castilla, way out in front. 1-1. Todd Helton at second base has now had 9 RBIs in his last 6 games. He has 95. He needs 5 more to reach the century mark for the 6th straight year. 1-1 to count. Fastball fouled away. 1-2. So Todd Helton, we mentioned it the other night, had been tied with Joe DiMaggio for batting average, RBIs, etc., and now stands alone. But again, and he's a good player. I don't mean to demean him at all, but it's just not fair to link someone who plays 81 games in the Mile High City with someone who plays a full year at sea level. Foul ball. The full moon is with us. Lovely sight, like a hole in the sky up there. 1-1 in the 6th. Giants Padres 3-3 in the 7th. Castilla not only a home run hitter, he has a 71 game errorless streak at third base. So Vinny at 37 is still doing a great job. One and two. 34 home runs and 130 runs batted in. Fastball hit to center. Finley has it on his radar screen. That'll do it. However, single by Miles, double by Heldon to tie it up. It will be Adrian Beltre along with Finley and Worth coming up in a 1-1 tie. Cast your vote. We're going to the bottom of the 6th inning, boys and girls together in a 1-1 tie. Meanwhile, in San Diego, the Giants are up in the 7th inning in a 3-3 tie with Dustin Moore, I believe, coming up. Meanwhile, Finley a strike and the count 0-1. So Jeff Francis has done a very good job. 23-year-old pitching right along with Odalis Perez. Big curveball. 1-1. Finley fouled out, hit the ball in the hole where Miles made the great stop and then threw it away, and the Dodger run scored. 1-1. That's a strike. Finley last night 0 for 3 until he singled in the 9th inning to win the game. The night before, he singled in the 9th inning to set it up for Milton Bradley, who singled in the winner. 1-2 to Finley. And he hits it foul down the line. We mentioned Milton Bradley, and just in case you missed it, Milton Bradley has been suspended 5 games for last night's action. Suspended by Major League Baseball. So from now through Sunday, Milton ineligible, and if the Dodgers get into the playoffs, then he can play. Ground ball wide of first to Helton. He'll feed his young pitcher. 1 away. So the batter will be Adrian Beltre. 89 pitches made. Remember, we told you, but I guess it doesn't mean much. He has pitched 185 innings coming into this game, and the word was that coaches figured they'd let him pitch 190, meaning 5 more innings tonight. However, he's already at 1 out in the 6th, and here's Beltre. Walk, grounded out, 0 for 1. And a line drive base hit into left field for Beltre, hit number 200, and he ought to ask for the ball. And the chant again, MVP. Listen. So a line drive single, and they're getting the ball for Adrian. So Beltre now with 200 hits, and the batter, Jason Worth. .151 hits 2 years ago had been his career high, and he's talking to Todd Helton, who knows all about getting a lot of hits. Alan Simpson, a right-hander, gets up in the Colorado bullpen. Ball 1. Big curveball at Worth's feet. Jason struck out in the 1st, struck out in the 4th. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning in San Diego, and the Giants are all tied up 3-3. Giants led 3-1 Catcher Ramon Hernandez hit a home run with a man aboard to tie it up. 1-0 to Worth. Waved at. Remember, the magic number is 3. Any combination thereof. Beltre with the Dodgers' 3rd hit. Fastball lifted to right field. Gonzalez coming in. So Worth a fly ball to right, 2 down. Beltre holding at first, and Sean Green the batter. So there's a wild card, and it is really wild. Houston won its 15th in a row at home, setting a franchise record. They beat the Cardinals again. Cubs lost, so they're a half a game back, and the Giants are tied. San Diego, of course, would love to knock off the Giants and get back into it. And they have David Wells against Noah Lowry. 3-3, bottom of the 7th. Sean Green fouled out, grounded out, 0 for 2. Fastball, good strike, 0-1. Again, the fastball at 85, anywhere from 85 to 88. Certainly not overpowering. Has walked 3 and has struck out 3. 0-1. And there goes Beltre, the pitch outside. Green's throw, safe. Taking a good long look was Kerwin Danley before calling it. So now the tiebreaker is at second base. Green got a pretty good ball to handle. Looked like the throw was going to beat him, and Beltre first a hand and then sliding across, hooks it with his left leg and stays on there. That's what Danley was watching to make sure Beltre didn't come off the bag. 1-1 to Green. Ground ball to Helton. He'll take it to the bag. So they lead Beltre, and 6 tough innings in the books. Dodgers 1, Rockies 1. 1-1 tie, top of the 7th inning. Say, do you want to own the best seats in sports? You know, the Dugout Club at Dodger Stadium, well, it's sold out, but deposits are now being accepted to secure your position on the waiting list. With seats closer to home plate than the pitcher, preferred parking, and all food and non-alcoholic beverages included, there's no way to see a better game than with the Dodgers in those seats. So call 1-866-DODGERS for more information. Jeremy Burnett hit by a pitch and struck out, 0 for 1. 1 run, 4 hits for the Rockies, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Burnett, Atkins, and Green in the 7th. Giants are in some trouble in San Diego with Tyler Walker pitching. 3-3 tie. Padres have runners at first and third. Nobody out. 1-1 to Burnett. Jeremy coming into the game has struck out 120 times, now 121. Odalis had his toughest inning in the 6th inning when he made 19 pitches. Two and 2. So Jeremy Burnett's a throwback, pants tucked in at the knees, no batting glove. Mark Grace never wore a glove, and then he's hung him up. 2-2 to Jeremy. Curveball and hit the signs. He'll do it himself. 1 out. Phil Nevin came up after Giles had singled a runner to third, and Nevin popped up. So there's 1 out. Padres have runners at first and third. 3-3 tie in the 7th. And now Tyler Walker will be coming out, and I assume they're going to bring in a left-hander to face Ryan Klesko. Well, we'll let you know. Here's Atkins, hit into a force play and walk. Garrett 0 for 1. The pride of UCLA. 0 and 1. Garrett Atkins will be 25 the middle of December. 5th round pick 4 years ago by the Rockies. His dad used to pitch to him, helped make him a good hitter. One and one. Clint Hurdle has seen so many big leads go down the drain. He can't take a tie for granted. Ball 2, 2 and 1. Garrett Atkins in his first major league at bat. That was last August the 3rd. He had a 2-run double. Great way to break in. Ball 3, 3 and 1. Three balls, 1 strike. To repeat, Giants Padres 3-3, bottom of the 7th, 1 out. Padres have runners at first and third, and the Giants making a pitching change with Ryan Klesko due up. 3 and 2. The left-hander coming in for the Giants is Jason Christensen to face Ryan Klesko. And that's ball 4 to Garrett Atkins. So it's the second time that Atkins has walked. And it'll bring up Todd Green, who is still wondering what to do about getting a base hit. In the second inning, a shot in the hole, short hop by Asturis, double play. In the 5th inning, hard ground ball to Beltre, down to Hernandez, another double play. So Todd Green, the catcher, coming up. He has hit in 8 double plays, and with Atkins at first. Atkins, by the way, does not have a stolen base and really didn't do any running in the minors. The most stolen bases he had, a half a dozen. So he doesn't figure to get much of a jump on Perez anyway. Foul the other way, 0 and 1. Todd Green, veteran catcher, 33. Bounced around, came up with the Angels for a while, then the Blue Jays, the Yankees, last couple of years Rangers. Kid growing up, his little league team won a district title, played in the so-called Dixie Boys World Series, played on a lot of great amateur teams as a teenager. 1 and 1. Then after all of the little school play, the little boys World Series, pre-majors World Series when he was 16, he went to high school and won the state championship as a junior and a senior. George Piedra is now running for Atkins, another local boy who lives in Van Nuys. 1 and 1. Ground ball to short. It is Torres to Hernandez. And for Todd Green, same old story. 3 at-bats, 3 double plays, or if you're from Augusta, 3 bogeys. And at the end of 6.5, a 1-1 tie. The boys and the girls, the moms and the dads, taking in a regular season ball game. Tomorrow night, Jose Lima and Jason Jennings, and then all 3 weekend games with the Giants sold out. We're 1-1 here in the bottom of the 7th. The Giants are 3-3 with 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Felipe Alou changing pitchers. Noah Lowry came out. Then he brought in Jason Christensen. It looks like Jim Brower is now trotting in. And Rich Aurelia, the former Giant, will be at the plate. Alan Simpson deals and signs a fly ball to right. Gonzalez is there to make the catch. So 1 pitch and 1 out. Alan Simpson is from Las Vegas. He was an 8th round pick by the Mariners. He went to Taft Junior College. Rockies acquired him in a deal. Throws pretty hard, gets his fastball anywhere up around 95. He has a slider and a changeup. And following Jeff Francis, the young left-hander was absolutely brilliant. Ball 1. Francis went 6 innings and allowed 1 run, 3 hits. Might not have allowed a run had Miles been able to make an accurate throw on the ball hit by Finley in the 3rd inning. He was everything that was advertised. Jeff Francis. Fastball fought off. 1-1. By the way, behind the plate, Todd Green, and he's had a rough night. Came up in the 2nd inning, hit into a double play. Came up in the 5th inning, hit into a double play. Came up in the 7th inning, hit into a double play, and you might wonder about the record. Ball 2. The National League record by a player double plays in one game, 4. Joe Torre back in 1975, and Felix Millan was on first base all 4 times when Joe played for the Braves. Fouled away. 2-2. 1 out, 7th inning, a 1-1 tie. Brent Maine hit back to the box, fly to left. In at the hands. Take the hair right off the back of the hand. 3-2 the count. With Jim Brower being brought in to pitch in San Diego, the bases are loaded with 1 out. Meanwhile, Maine strikes out, and we have 2 down in the 7th.
Now batting.
The left-hand hitter up with the bases loaded and 1 out, and Brower gets a strike. Rich Aurelia, who had a great career with the Giants, is now trying to ruin their night. 3-3, 7th inning down there, bases loaded, 1 out. Odalis Perez single to right center, almost had another hit. Aaron Miles took a base hit away from him in the 5th inning. So Brower has inherited a big spot, and the veteran Aurelia at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Foul back, 1-2. Brower misses, so the count on Aurelia 2-1. Want to check again. I know 2 Padres have had big nights with the bat. Fouled away. Aurelia takes high, so Jim Brower now is really in a hole. 3-1, 1 out, bases loaded, a 3-3 tie, and they're going wild at Petco. So Aurelia has run the count 3-1, and Brower, with the crowd screaming, ball 4, has just walked in, and no, make it a strike. Aurelia started to go to first, and they called him back. Here's 3-2 to Perez. Ground ball to Miles. So that's it here. Aurelia is up there with the bases loaded, 1 out, a 3-2 count. We'll be back, but ours 1-1. 1-1 as we go to the 8th inning. We were telling you Rich Aurelia almost walked. They called him back. Count went to 3-2, and he struck out on what looked like ball 4. So the bases remain loaded in San Diego. 2 out. Ramon Hernandez, who has a double and a 2-run home run, is at the plate. And it's a 1-2 count to the San Diego catcher. So Jim Brower trying to get out of a terrible spot. And the 1-2 pitch to Hernandez is swung on and missed. Wow, what a job by Brower. And the Padres failed to score. They had first and third and nobody out. They had the bases loaded with 1 out, with 2 out, and they come up empty. So we go to the 8th inning 1-1. They go to the 8th inning 3-3. It will be Gonzalez followed by Johnson and then Miles against Odalis Perez. Gonzalez, playing right field, has grounded out and struck out. 0 for 2, hitting .296. Ball 1. Boy, I tell you what, you will read about Aurelia's at bat, I'm sure. Curved ball for a strike. It was 3-1, and Aurelia took what he thought was ball 4 to force in a go-ahead run, but they called him back, and then he swung and missed at ball 4. 1-1 to Gonzalez. Line drive at Beltre. Whoa, the old Statue of Liberty play. Adrian drops to his knees and gets the cheers and applause. Another fine play that triggers the MVP chant again. And boy, that thing was ripped.
Your attention, please, for the Rockies.
1 out in the 8th. The crowd cheering for Adrian is a sizable crowd. It's the biggest crowd of the series. 43,304. His Turris is teasing Beltre for dropping to his knees. Ball 1 to Charles Johnson. They're 2 great guys, and they really get along well with each other. 1 ball and no strikes. Johnson, 13 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Fouls the curve. Johnson is 0 for 6. Striking out 4 times against Odalis Perez. One and 1. Ball 2. Johnson started last night's game. Went 0 for 3. 2-1. 3-1. So Brower bailed out the Giants big time. They're in the 8th inning, tied 3-3 with 1 out. Giants have only left 3 men on base. The Padres have left 10. And the Padres are, I believe, 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. And David Wells battling the Giants for all he's worth. We're 1-1. They're 3-3. High pop foul off first. Olmedo signs. Makes the play. The Charles Johnson fouls out to Signs. 2 out in the 8th inning. And the batter will be Aaron Miles. Meanwhile, Davy Cruz is hitting in that 3-3 tie with 1 out in the 8th inning, and Barry Bonds has to be close to coming up. And Cruz on a big curveball strikes out. Duaner Sanchez in the Dodger bullpen as Cruz walks away empty-handed. Big breaking ball, and he just went right over it with the swing. Miles is 2 for 3. Late on a fastball, 0-1. So Giants 3, Padres 3, 2 out, top of the 8th. And Edgardo Alfonzo, a base hit to left field. 1-1. So Alfonso singles, and I assume now that Barry Bonds will be coming up. Braves beat the Mets today. Bobby Cox now has managed 2,000 victories. So it'll be Bonds against Wells as Miles fouls it off. Wells tonight, we know, struck out Bonds on 3 pitches. Barry has walked and scored a run. So we'll see what they do with him. Meanwhile, 1-2 to Aaron Miles with 2 out. And it's ball 1 to Bonds. Foul ball down the line, back into the crowd. Akinori Otsuka throwing in the San Diego bullpen back at David Wells. Alfonso at first with 2 out. Bonds at the plate, 1 ball and no strikes. Dallas working on Miles, 2 out in the 8th, 1-1. And that's popped up in foul ground. Signs calling for it. So is Maine, but it's Signs. Adrian Beltre tonight has had a magical glove as always. One hard hit ball drove him to his knees, and it was a big play. And we're heading for the bottom of the 8th, 1-1. Dallas Perez, a brilliant 8 innings. He has made 114 pitches through the 8 innings. Todd Helton doubled in Aaron Miles for the only run. Adrian Beltre picked up a base hit. That would be the 200th hit for him this year. He also stole second, but they left him. The 3rd Colorado pitcher coming in. And as Perez sits back and waits after 114 pitches and thanks Beltre for a good play. Francis for 6, Simpson for 1, and Brian Fuentes. Fuentes is from Merced. He went to Merced Junior College, originally drafted by Seattle. The last we were talking about Barry Bonds facing David Wells. And Bonds hit a hard ground ball over first, but Phil Nevin was there to come up with it, and they got the 3rd out. So they're in the bottom of the 8th inning in San Diego, 3-3. Off speed, 2-0. The dreaded Colorado bullpen. Dreaded by Colorado. And Fuentes hoping to turn things around. He's 1-3, an ERA of almost 6. That's a strike. Fuentes has allowed 5 home runs, 43 innings. Steve Reed, the veteran, up in the pen. 1-1 in the 8th. They're 3-3 down south. Off the plate, 3-1. Fuentes first came up to the Mariners 3 years ago, went back down and surfaced with the Rockies 2 years ago. 3-1. And a strike. Crowd groans thinking that was ball 4. 43,304. Line drive. Oh, what a diving catch by Vinny Castilla. Great play. So Vinny Castilla, even at his age, 37, still has the reflexes to dive at a bullet and come up with it. Marvelous play. We're seeing great plays tonight because the pitchers are throwing strikes. So Beltre sees Castillo take a page out of his book, and we have 1 out in the 8th inning. Jose Hernandez. Ball 1. Brian Fuentes, besides a 1-3 record, strikeout to walk ratio about 2.5 to 1. Fastball strike, 1-1. In San Diego, there is 1 out on a ground ball and a close play at first. Terrence Long grounding out. Davy Cruz making a good play to get him. So 1 out, bottom of the 8th. Giants 3, Padres 3 on the play. Davy Cruz went across second base in front of Ray Durham to throw out the runner, and now Felipe Alou comes out of the Giant dugout. I think there's something wrong maybe with Ray Durham. Maybe they're checking him, and it looks like Ray is going to walk off the field, whatever happened. So Ray Durham, the regular second baseman, comes out of the game on a ball hit up the middle. That's fielded by the shortstop, Davy Cruz, on the other side of the bag. And whatever happened, Durham is leaving. And Cody Ransom comes out of the dugout to play second base down there. 2-2 the count. Jose Hernandez has walked, struck out, fly to center. Two balls, two strikes. Little foul out of play. Fuentes came to the Rockies in the deal that sent Jeff Cirillo to the Mariners. He's big. He's 6'4", 220, 29 years old, out of Merced. His style, he says, is like skipping a rock on a lake, the way he delivers. Off speed, a fly ball to right center, and Burnett will run it down. That was a very good pitch. Hernandez hit a changeup off his front foot, and Burnett ran it down. So 2 out in the 8th, and Steve Finley coming up. 1 out in San Diego. In fact, 2 now on a comeback of the Brower. So 3-3, bottom of the 8th in San Diego. 1-1, bottom of the 8th in Los Angeles. What a night, what a race. Ball 1. Steve Finley fouled out, had an infield single. That's when Miles looked like he was going to take a hit away from him and then threw the ball away. And then last time up, grounded out. Curveball missed. 2-0 with Beltre on deck. Scott Air is throwing in the Giant bullpen. A lot going on tonight. 2-0. Ball 3. Finley hitting .308 against Fuentes. 3-0. In there. Fuentes did not pitch last night. He worked the 8th inning the night before and gave up 3 straight hits and 2 runs. 3-1. 3-2. Jay Payton with 2 out in the 8th inning hit one right down the right field line, and it hooked foul at the last moment. So the count 1-2. Mark Loretta is on deck, and a 1-2 count to Payton. We're 3-2 to Finley, and fouled away. Brower works away to Payton, and they count 2-2 in San Diego. Boy, this is something. They're 3-3. We're 1-1. Each game in the bottom of the 8th. Each game with 2 out. Brower's off the plate again. So he's gone 3-2 to Jay Payton. Meanwhile, we have 3-2 to Steve Finley, 2 center fielders. Busted bat, had to have one of those, and Clayton throws him out. So the game is no longer official unless you have a broken bat. And at the end of 8, we're going to the 9th inning in a 1-1 tie. Yancy Brazaban will pick up for Odalis Perez. Meanwhile, the Padres with 2 out have a runner at first and a 3-0 count to Mark Loretta. And Loretta, I think, is followed by Brian Giles. So Brower, who got out of big trouble in the 7th, now walks Loretta, and the Padres have 2 on, 2 out, and Felipe Alou going out to the mound again. And Royce Clayton pops it up to his tourist. 1 out. So Felipe Alou is going to lift Brower with 2 out, and Scott Air will be called in to face Brian Giles. 2 out in the 8th. Giants 3, Padres 3. We're in the 9th in a 1-1 tie. And Brazoban picking up for Odalis Perez, who is absolutely bewitched this year. It's unreal. Odalis Perez has 18 no decisions. He's been in 22 games decided by 2 runs or less, 14 one-run games, 6 extra inning games. He pitches a brilliant 8 innings tonight, allowing 1 run. It's not good enough. 1-1 the count to Helton. Helton hasn't seen much of Brazoban. He's 1 for 1 against him in the past. Tonight he doubled in the only Rockies run. Ball 2. On deck, Vinny Castilla. So 9th inning, 1-1. Francis, Simpson, and Fuentes, Perez, and now Brazoban. Ball 3. Three and 1 to Helton. Now back 3-2. So we're waiting to see what develops in San Diego with left-hander Scott Air having been called in to face Brian Giles. Three and 2. And he walked him. So with 1 out, Helton draws the walk. And the batter will be Castillo, who flied to right, struck out, flied to center. Don't forget the Southern California Sports Report, complete Dodger coverage and a lot more. That'll be coming up right after the game. 2 down, 2 on, and Brian Giles facing Scott Air in a 3-3 tie in the 8th inning. And Air's first pitch, ball 1. One ball and no strikes to Vinny Castillo. 1-0 the count to Giles. Off speed for a strike. 1-1. So Brazoban dropping from 94 to 81. Meanwhile, Giles swings and misses at a fastball. The count down there is 1-1. And that's going to be flared to center for a base hit. Helton will go to second and hold on. So Castilla, little looping single. That puts runners at first and second, and Jeremy Burnett's coming up. 2 on, 2 out down south. Giles up on a 1-1 count. And Scott Air checks his runners, and a fastball is outside down there for ball 2. 2-1 to Brian Giles. David Wells has made 88 pitches tonight. The Giants pitchers total have made 150. Meanwhile, Kobe on the phone talking to the pen. Mike Venafro is down there. George Piedra, left-hand hitter, is on deck. And wait a minute. I think Jim has decided with Burnett's up there, he's going to go to Venafro. Meanwhile, while Mike Venafro loosens up here, Brian Giles has gone 3-2 against Scott Air with 2 out, bottom of the 8th inning, and a 3-3 tie. We're 1-1 in the 9th with runners at first and second. They're standing and roaring in San Diego. A huge pitch coming up. Scott Air checks, set at the belt. The pitch to Giles, swung on. A ground ball to first. The out is recorded. The inning is over. And the Padres fail to score in the bottom of the 8th. So they go to the ninth inning 3-3. We're in the ninth with one out, 1-1. And Jeremy Burnett, hit by a pitch, struck out and fouled out, facing Mike Venafro. So Venafro, who gets all the tough left-hand hitters, now trying to get Burnett. Curveball fouled away. Burnett is 0 for 2 in the past against Venafro. 0 for 2 tonight. And I think Jeremy thought he should have been able to handle that pitch, and he fouled it off. 37 home runs, 106 runs batted in. Helton at second, Castillo at first, 1 out. 0-1 to Burnett. Another pitch, not much a break to it. 1-1. Chu Freeman is on deck. Giovanni Carrara is up again in the Dodger bullpen. One ball, one strike. And that's going to be flared into right field. Helton is around third. Sean Green's throw to the plate is not in time. There are runners at second and third, and the Rockies have taken a 2-1 lead. So Todd Helton barely scores, but score he did on a single to right by Jeremy Burnett. And then on the throw to the plate, Castillo goes to third, and Burnett advances to second. So Green came up and made a strong throw, and Helton just did get by Maine and touch home plate with his left hand.
Your attention, please.
So now Chu Freeman is coming up to bat for George Piedra. Chu Freeman. Infield has to play up with 1 out. Freeman last night walked twice, struck out and flied out. And a strike. Trevor Hoffman is now pitching in the ninth inning in that 3-3 tie in San Diego. Freeman ran in game 1 and tried to steal third and was caught for the third out. And a chopper off the glove of Venafro, deflected into left field, and 2 runs are going to score, and Freeman goes into second. And it is 3-1 Rockies. What a play. Both Castillo and Burnett come in. A bouncer off Venafro's glove, deflected into the hole, and all of a sudden the Rockies have a rather commanding lead. It'll be a double and 2 runs batted in for Freeman. So 3 runs in the inning now, and it's 4-1 Colorado. And now Jim Tracy is forced to go to the pen again and bring in Carrara. So the comebacker off the glove of Mike Venafro, a huge play. And meanwhile, there's 1 out in the 9th inning in San Diego in a 3-3 tie. So Venafro is charged with the hit. That's 2 hits charged to Venafro. Burnett, who scored, is charged to Venafro. The other in the 9th inning and take a 4-1 lead. And Giovanni Carrara will be the 4th Dodger pitcher. Trevor Hoffman has 1 out in the 9th inning in a 3-3 tie with the Giants. If you're wondering about Eric Gagne, in case you did not hear the announcement earlier in the game, Eric's shoulder was bothering him a little bit last night. So today they had an MRI. They find that he had a mild case of shoulder tendonitis. They gave him a cortisone shot, and Gagne will not pitch tonight. Meanwhile, Marquise Grissom has just struck out on a Trevor Hoffman changeup. 2 down in San Diego. 1 out here. 4-1 Rockies. And Chu Freeman, who doubled off the glove of Mike Venafro, is at second base. Breaking ball, ball 1. Yorbit Torrealba. The Giant catcher is up with 2 out and bunts. Hoffman down to get it, picks it up, throws just in time to get him for the 3rd out. So San Diego is coming up in the bottom of the 9th in a 3-3 tie. Scott Air was the last Giant pitcher on the mound when the 8th inning ended. Well, here's Todd Green with 1 out, and no doubt the thought, pretty hard to hit into a double play now. He hit into a double play in the 2nd inning, in the 5th inning, in the 7th inning, but now he has a runner at second with 1 out. 1-1 to Todd. Two and one. Well, Brian Giles made the last out in the bottom of the 8th. So I would assume Phil Nevin and Ryan Klesko will be coming up in the bottom of the 9th. 2-1 the count to Todd Green. And a breaking ball, a good one. 2-2. Green is hitting .280. He has 10 home runs, 35 runs batted in. So the Rockies again will have a lead in the 9th inning, and the Dodgers challenge to see if they can come back again. 51 comeback victories for the Dodgers, and several against the Rockies bullpen. 2-2. Breaking ball. So 3-2 the count to Green. The Dodgers have had amazing good fortune against the Rockies. In their last 4 victories against the Rockies, Colorado has blown 2 5-run leads, a 2-run lead, and a 4-run lead in the 9th. Well, they're leading 4-1 in the 9th tonight. 3-2 to Green. Curveball with Freeman going, and it's fouled away and back into the stand. Freeman had no idea where that foul ball was going. He slid into third. Chew Freeman. He was taken off on the pitch. The other night, remember, he stole third for the 3rd out. Meanwhile, Phil Nevin facing Scott Air. Bottom of the 9th inning, 3-3 in San Diego. Fastball and ball 4. The Green draws the walk, and the batter will be Luis Gonzalez with 2 on, 1 out, and the Rockies leading 4-1. Gonzalez grounded out, struck out, and lined out. Dustin Hermanson is throwing in the Giant bullpen, and Phil Nevin fouls the pitch away, and the count's 2-1 down there. So we're in the top of the 9th. They're in the bottom of the 9th, tied up 3-3. 2 on, 1 out here, 3 runs in, and the Rockies leading 4-1. Fastball. 0-1 to count to Gonzalez, batting .295. Adrian Beltre will be leading off in the bottom of the 9th, followed by Jason Worth and then Sean Green. So the Dodgers will have another 9th inning challenge. Oh, 0-1 to Gonzalez. Fastball hit foul down the right field line. Green coming a long way, but it's in the crowd. Big crowd tonight, 43,304. If you don't have a ticket and you don't plan to go to the weekend games with the Giants, maybe you'll come on by tomorrow night. Jose Lima and Jason Jennings. Meanwhile, the count to Phil Nevin in the bottom of the 9th inning, leading off 3 balls and 2 strikes against Scott Air. Is she cute? 0-2 to Gonzalez. And Nevin strikes out on a breaking ball down and in for the first out. That fastball really took off. 1-2. So Giovanni Carrara, they've all got to be tired. Carrara seems like he pitches every day. It's his 40th game. League is hitting .230 against him. 1-2 to Gonzalez. 4-1 Rockies, top of the 9th. Fastball. So Gonzalez, he strikes out a second time and goes 0 for 4. And the batter now will be Mark Sweeney. So Sweeney,
please, for the Rockies,
batting here in the 9th inning.
Number 25, Mark Sweeney.
Jim Colburn going out to tell Carrara how they like to pitch to Sweeney. Sweeney appeared as a pinch hitter last night. Remember that fly ball to right field? Milton Bradley lost it in the lights. Then dropped it. 2-base error and 2 runs scored. Sweeney also appeared in the first game and walked. And he's having a huge year, especially coming off the bench. Of course, that has really been his job for several years. He has 5 pinch hit home runs for a total of 9, hitting a solid .272 with 40 runs batted in. Meanwhile, Scott Air with 1 out in the 9th inning. A breaking ball is fouled off by Ryan Klesko, and the count to Klesko is 1-2. Sweeney with 23 pinch hit RBIs this year. Two on, 2 out, 3 in, 4-1 Colorado. That's a strike. Scott Air delivers in the dirt, and a 2-2 count to Ryan Klesko. Giants and Padres 3-3 with 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Oh and 1. Hit foul off third down the line. 0-2 to Sweeney from Framingham, Massachusetts. One of the better pinch hitters in the game. Meanwhile, Klesko is up there and the count runs to 3-2. Count here 0-2. Sweeney beat 35 in October. He has said publicly he hopes he can get back to Colorado next year. 3-2 to Klesko, 0-2 to Sweeney, and Scott Air ready to pitch. Swung on and missed. So Air has struck out Nevin and he has struck out Klesko in the 9th inning. Meanwhile, 0-2 to Sweeney. Ball 1. 3-3 bottom of the 9th, 2 out, bases empty. Let's see, there was Nevin, then there was Klesko. I think it might be Rich Aurelia. Yep. And Dave Righetti has gone out to the mound to talk to Scott Air. 1-2 the count to Sweeney. And got him. So a breaking ball strikes out Sweeney, but the Rockies send 8 men to the plate here in the 9th inning. And here we go, bottom of the 9th, 4-1. Colorado leading the Dodgers 4-1 in the 9th inning. Chu Freeman, who doubled off Mike Venafro's glove, and a couple of runs scored on the freak play. He'll be in center. Jeremy Burnett moves over to right, and Gonzalez comes out of the game. And on the mound, Chin-Hui Sao, and he was very impressive in the 8th inning last night. He came in to strike out Worth and Finley. He gave up a single to Beltre, and they took him out. And of course, as you know, after Javier Lopez came in to get Green last night, Sean Chacon walked the house. So we'll see what they do with Sal now in the bottom of the 9th inning. Meanwhile, Rich Aurelia made out. They're going to the 10th inning in San Diego. Giants 3, Padres 3. So we'll try to keep track of that one. Here's Beltre, walk, grounded out, single to left. Chin-Hui Sao is from Taiwan. He is 6'2", 180-pounder, and only 23 years old. Fastball, ball 1. We mentioned last night, Sal went to the University of Northern Colorado, took advanced English. Smart guy. 1-0. That's a strike. 1-1. Sal has a 2-seam fastball. The Dodger hitters know that sinks. He has a 4-seamer that he can throw up to sometimes 97. Ball 2. Besides the 2 fastballs, he has a slider, fair curve, and a changeup. He can throw a splitter, but I'm not sure if he throws it anymore. He was debating about giving it up. 2-1. 2-2. 10th inning, 3-3, and Trevor Hoffman is going to pitch for the Padres, his 2nd inning of the night. Fastball fouled away. Looking at Sal's work, he has struck out 9 and he has walked 1. JT Snow is going to start off the 10th inning in a 3-3 tie. In fact, there's 1 out now, and Snow is the hitter as Sean Green takes a look at Sal battling Beltre. Ground ball to third. Castillo was deep, throwing on the run to get him. Nice play by Vinny. He's made a couple of good ones. So Beltre, a great third baseman, thrown out by another one. 1 out. Remember, the magic number is 3. Depending upon what the Giants do, if the Dodgers lose, it will either remain 3, but only for the moment. If the Giants should lose, the magic number would then be 2. There's 1 out, a 2-ball, 1-strike count on JT Snow. That's ball 1 to Worth. Struck out twice, flied to right. 4-1 Rockies. Bottom of the 9th. Worth followed by Green. Ball 2. Meanwhile, Trevor Hoffman has gone 2 balls and 2 strikes to JT Snow. Good fastballs. 2-1. Now Hoffman misses inside, so he goes 3-2 to JT Snow. 1 out, bases empty. 3-3. Top of the 10th. Foul back. 3-2 to JT Snow. And a pitch in the dirt, and Snow strikes out on what would have been ball 4. So 2 out, top of the 10th inning. Hoffman continues to dazzle. Hoffman continues to fool. Boy, that thing wasn't close to being a strike, and JT went after it. Meanwhile, Worth strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. And with 2 down in the 9th inning, the batter will be Sean Green.
Sean Green.
Ricky Leday is coming up with 2 out, 10th inning in a 3-3 tie in San Diego. So the Dodgers on the edge of losing 4-1. And here's Green with signs on deck. Ball 1. So Leday trying to keep the inning alive, swings and misses. And Hoffman throwing those change-ups in the 70s, and these hitters are just chasing them like houseflies. That's a strike to Green. 1-1. Sean fouled out and grounded out twice. 0 for 3, hitting .266. 0-2 the count to Ricky Leday. 1-2 the count to Sean Green. Hoffman's fastball gets Leday looking. That was right down the middle, and Leday was frozen. So the Giants 3-run 7 hits. The Padres 3-run 7 hits, with Hernandez and Hoffman due up to start the bottom of the 10th inning. Meanwhile, we have 2 out here, 4-1 Rockies. Ball 3. It's been Francis, fine looking young left-hander. Alan Simpson worked an inning. Brian Fuentes worked an inning. Chin-Hui Sao asked to work an inning. Green at the plate, and Olmedo Signs on deck with 2 out. 3-2 to Sean. Fouled away. Tomorrow night, the final game with Colorado. Jose Lima, Jason Jennings, and the Dodgers really have to be impressed with the work of young Jeff Francis. 1 run and 3 hits in 6 innings. 3-2. Fouled away. And remember, the Dodger run, Perez single, took second on an infield out. Hernandez struck out. Finley rolled one in the hole. Aaron Miles made a great sliding stop. Tried to throw while on the ground. Threw it away from Helton, and it got by Jeff Francis, who was backing up. And Perez scored from second for the only Dodger run. That's a hopper. In fact, it never touched the ground. And Miles grabs it, and that'll do it. Green lines out. The Dodgers go out in order. And the last 11 Dodgers went down since the hit by Beltre in the 6th inning. The player of the game would have to be 23-year-old young Jeff Francis from Victoria up there in British Columbia. And so the Dodgers lose 4-1. Meanwhile, in San Diego, Ramon Hernandez had hit a home run to tie up the game. Dustin Hermanson is now going to be pitching the 10th inning, and that game is locked up 3-3. Well, once again, the final score, Rockies 4, Dodgers 1. For Ross Porter and Rick Monday, this is Vin Scully saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Now for Dodger postgame coverage and all the day's local sports news, let's go to the Southern California Sports Report. Talk to you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.
Dodgers hit a home run. Cragen will donate a free child safety seat to it.
And we'd like to welcome everyone who just saw the Dodgers and the Rockies from Chavez Ravine. The skipper's here, Van Earl's here, and I'm Michael. We're going to come back with a full episode of the SESR. It all starts right now.